Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Abracadabra. Abracadabra is essentially a platform that allows you to deposit assets that are interest-bearing, and then you can take out debt against those assets. So I like to tell people Abracadabra is a bit like Alchemex, except you get a lot more flexibility with the platform, which is very interesting. Now, what's really unique about this platform is that a lot of the assets that you deposit as collateral are actually interest-bearing assets. So if we scroll down, we can see there's this Yearn Curve Staked ETH token, which is essentially an interest-bearing ETH token, which is very exciting and earning about 7% interest now. So in this example, you can deposit an ETH equivalent token, get a 7% yield on it, and then borrow against it while it's earning a yield and paying off the debt. Now that's why I say this is an Alchemex with a lot more flexibility. So there are a lot of things you can do with this platform. There's a lot of ways you can take on way too much risk, but it gives users a lot of flexibility. If you have stablecoins, you can see here they have USDC, USDT, and in just a bit I'll show you how you can get over a 20% APR on stablecoins on this platform, which is very cool. For now though, I'm just going to go into the Yearn Curve Staked ETH deposit option and just show you how that works because it is a bit confusing. So let's just work with round numbers here. So let's say you want to deposit the equivalent of, let's just say 10 ETH. So I would put that here in the deposit section. And then here you have the option to borrow what they call MIM, or Magic Internet Money Tokens is how they call it. And these are essentially stablecoins that are going to be backed by your collateral. So this MIM token would be the equivalent of the ALUSD token in Alchemex, but there is a major difference with this platform, and that's that you can face liquidations. So you can see here they have options on what percent of stablecoins you want to borrow against your collateral. They have 25%, 50%, which is not too safe, and then 70%, which is very risky. And you can see you can also enter custom values like 35%. What's great about this platform is you can see they display the liquidation price very clearly there. So there's going to be no accidents that happen if you use this platform. You're going to know what you're getting into. Also, keep in mind, this Curve Staked ETH token is going to be growing at 7% per year at the current rate on Yearn. And you can see that's displayed here. And I did check, and the rates are the same as on Yearn. So maybe the price of ETH fluctuates a bit over the year, but you're always going to be stacking ETH and then paying down your debt essentially because your principal is going to be earning a yield. Now for me, this is pretty exciting that you can get a yield on your collateral, and I don't take on too much risk, but perhaps I would be comfortable borrowing 25% against my staked ETH, and you can see my liquidation price would be a $990 ETH, which is of course possible, but it would be a significant drawdown from the market. I did want to talk about this change leverage toggle, and I think a lot of you will be interested in it. So if you're like me and perhaps you don't actually want to borrow stablecoins, you just want to get a yield on ETH, what you can do is you can actually loop your deposits. So those MIM tokens get automatically sold off to the staked ETH token and deposited in this vault. And so you're just going to be getting a better yield on your staked ETH. As an example here, I haven't changed any of the parameters, but if I just choose to loop the deposit 10 times, you can see my APY is going to jump to about 9.5%. So that 9.4% is about a 40% increase on your yield on ETH. But you do have to note that this does raise your liquidation price however many loops you do. So at 10 loops, my liquidation price has jumped to $1,000, but at 3 loops, you can see my liquidation price is $988. Now I did mention how you can get a higher than 20% yield on stablecoin, so I'll just go into the Yearn USDC vault option and let's just play with some of the settings here. What you need to know is that because USDC doesn't fluctuate in value, you can actually borrow more against it without risking getting liquidated. So in this case, you could borrow, let's just say 90% against your USDC. Now this might be compelling for some of you. Maybe you're happy holding your USDC in the vault, getting about 5%, and you want to spend this $9,500 on something else. And that's great. But if you want to boost that yield as much as possible, you can see that we can follow that loop strategy. And you can see if I 10x loop it, we're going to be getting about a 33% yield. Now, a 34% APY on USDC is incredible, but one thing you should note here is that liquidation price is now over $1, so this position is actually not valid. But there's a couple things we can do. So the first thing we could do is just lower that percentage we're borrowing against it. So maybe we only want to borrow 85% of our value of our collateral. And you can see there, Now the liquidation price is just under 99 cents, which USDC essentially never gets to. With this setting, you're still able to get a 27% APY, which is incredible, and we can obviously bring that down if we're a little more conservative, which is totally reasonable. So at 9x, you can see our liquidation price is under 98 cents and the APY is 26%. Just a couple other things about the platform. I'm on the farm tab here now, and if we scroll down, you can see that they have one active farm, which is ETH Spell, and Spell is the governance token for this platform. It also gets a fee from liquidations. Now that APY is pretty high at 220%, so that is one option. So there are a couple other things you can do with the MIM token, which I wanted to share with you. The first is you can deposit it in a curve pool and get a pretty decent yield on it. So I will just scroll to that here, and you can see that the MIM token is getting about 24% on curve. Now, of course, you can also go to Yearn and get an 18.7% just stacking stablecoins. And then lastly, you can also go to Convex here, and you can see that Convex is giving you about 15% this week, but it's projected to be 24% next week. With all of that said, it looks like the strategy I laid out for you on the platform itself is going to get you a higher yield on stablecoins. One thing I did want to show you on the bridge tab here is that they're trying to get the Abracadabra MIM token or the stablecoin everywhere, so you can essentially bridge it almost instantly through any of these chains, and that uses any swap. Now, I know a lot of folks are probably interested in farming ETH and the governance token Spell because it's earning such a high yield and you might believe in this platform, but one thing you want to do before you invest in that pool is to check out the tokenomics behind the Spell token. One thing that's important to note is that 25% of the Spell tokens are circulating now, so you still have 75% of the supply left that will dilute your share of the token. Now, as many of you know, I did partner with Nansen to help offer the community better analytics and insights into the tokens they might be purchasing. And as part of that, I did want to just briefly go through some insights I found on Nansen. So one thing that's interesting here is, as I mentioned, this project has really gained a ton of popularity in the last month or so. So you can see the unique addresses for the token has really spiked after pretty much staying flat for about 3 months. As I mentioned, this project launched in May, so it has been around for a while. One thing that's also interesting here is you can see the majority of the supply was held by addresses that have held their tokens for over 90 days. Now, the token price has gone up so much, so this does mean there are a lot of people in profit that potentially want to sell their token just because they realize such a huge gain. Now, one other tool on Nansen I like to use before investing in a project is the Notable Wallets tab, because here you can see what the most notable wallets are doing with their token supply. Are they buying new tokens? Are they selling? So this fifth wallet here is an ETH Millionaire, and you can see they're pretty bullish on this project. They just purchased about 700 million tokens for the first time 4 days ago, which is quite interesting. Now that picture does change a bit if we look at some of the next addresses. So you can see these two here have pretty much fully depleted their Spell governance token balance. This first address purchased their token 70 days ago, has realized a lot of profit, and you can see they actually sold about 500 million tokens and now hold none. This next address purchased about 118 days ago and sold again about 500 million and now holds very little of these Spell governance tokens. Now, if we wanted to, we could actually dive deeper into these addresses, see if they're perhaps insiders in the project or just what other tokens they're holding and what they're doing on chain. Now, if this interests you, you can click the link to try out Nansen below. You can also come to the Discord, and I have a Nansen channel there now where I'm happy to share insights that I've found on various projects I've covered. So that is all I have for you on Abracadabra. As you can see, it's a very fascinating platform that gives users a ton of flexibility. Now, with that said, thank you all so much for watching the video. Please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Now, have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.